As a mediator in the post-pandemic world, it's pretty clear that a large majority of mediations are going to continue to be virtual, at least for the time being. We've found that there are many benefits to virtual mediation. It's not just a convenience, it's not just something that we were able to do during the pandemic, it's something that actually seems to have some real benefits to it. For example, parties are more comfortable in their own homes. They're more comfortable just sitting in their living room or in their kitchen or wherever it might be. Now, sometimes you want a little uncomfortability to progress a mediation, but for the most part, you want parties to feel comfortable. You want them to be willing to resolve things. Similarly, decision makers that would otherwise not normally show up are showing up more often now. Insurance adjusters that are across the country that wouldn't fly in for a mediation, well, now it's just hopping on a Zoom call. More people can be available witnesses. People who were actually parties to what occurred that otherwise would not normally be there can be a part of the process. So I see it being something that's here to stay. And while I continue to mediate cases in person in California, New York, and Arizona, I also do a fair amount by video. So one of the things that was really important to me as a mediator was to design an office space, obviously the office space behind me that you're going to be staring at throughout the day of the mediation. It needs to be comfortable. It's not daunting or scary looking. So that was a part of the thought process and what's designed and the painting behind me and things like that. But another really critical factor is just how is your office set up? And I'm going to pan to what my office looks like, but the office setup I think is critical. I spent a lot of time, months of testing. Best Buy absolutely loves me because I was there buying and returning, really designing what I think is the ideal workspace for a mediator in today's world. What I have here is a MacBook Pro. Now, you don't have to use Mac, you can use another PC, but a MacBook Pro that is docked into 3 external monitors. I've got a really great mouse. It's a Logitech mouse. I've got the Logitech Brio webcam, and I've got an Apple Magic Keyboard that's wirelessly connected. But really the critical factors are a few external pieces that you dock into them. One, I have the Yeti Nano microphone. It's very cheap for an external microphone, but it's very crisp, very clear. You can hear what I say when I say it. I have Bose speakers. They were, $150, $200 at Best Buy also, that are phenomenal sound. I can hear everything somebody else is saying. The 3 screens have very specific purposes. I have the center screen vertical. I have a screen to my left that's vertical, and I have a screen to my right that is horizontal, but I can turn any of these screens however I want. Why do I have it set up that way? When I'm on Zoom, facing people on the other side, I want to have a full screen zoom at the top center of my screen in the center screen vertical. Underneath that, I have my operative document. It's my Word document with my questions for the parties. It's where I've taken notes in advance of the mediation, the conversations that I've had in pre-mediation phone calls. It's basically the place where I will focus most of my attention in addition to the Zoom that's right on top of it. Now, the Logitech Brio is a phenomenal webcam. It allows you to zoom in and zoom out. It allows you to change the functions, the color, the lighting, things like that. But most importantly, it really tracks your eyes to some degree where when I look dead center at the screen, where I see myself speaking right now, when someone's speaking to me, I'm looking straight ahead. I'm not looking up at the camera. Right now I'm looking up. You can tell I'm looking up. Normally I'm looking straight ahead, and it feels like I'm talking to you. This is a huge element that a lot of people don't recognize makes a huge difference. In mediation, any mediator will tell you that it's so critical to have that direct connection, the human-to-human connection. So I spent a lot of time researching and figuring out how could I get it so that a webcam that I'm staring at is going to make the person on the other side feel like I'm actually looking at them and talking directly to them. And this really I found to be the best product on the market to do that. And so, I'm not paid by any of these people, but this is just what my research has found. So that is what I have. I've got Zoom in a full screen at the top. I've got my operative document underneath it. And then to the left of me at a full vertical large screen, I have the exhibits of the parties open, plaintiff and defense, and I can easily toggle between them and look at them in very large format. Now on the right screen, I'll typically have Google open. I'll maybe open some other relevant documents if there are other documents, but it's easy access. If there's a question, if there's a legal question, I can hop on Westlaw and do some research. I tend to be a little bit more evaluative when the parties ask me to, and so I would like to have access to that. But I can always turn that vertical also and just put up the other parties' exhibits. Sometimes I'll have plaintiff on one side, defendants on the other side. But this setup gives me a perfect ability to focus dead center on the camera, on the person I'm talking to, very easily look down and up at my main operative document, but easily look to either side to see my exhibits, and everything is laid out perfectly in front of me. This to me is the ideal workstation for a mediator. I like to make sure people understand how much thought has gone into it on my part to make sure that this experience, this process, is as seamless as possible. I also run Zoom on an external monitor in addition to the main monitor because I can operate that as an administrator where if an issue comes up, I'm easily able to fix it, where I can move people in and out of rooms easily. So, that's another trick of the trade, is running Zoom on 2 separate devices as the mediator. But I think that it's important for mediators who are shifting into the virtual world to not just go at it and just think it's going to be easy to figure out. Actually spend some time, sit down, learn how to use Zoom properly, think about how to set up your office properly, think about a way to make it the most seamless possible, because you're going to be doing this, I think, for a very long time by video. So anyone who has questions, parties, mediators, anyone out there, I'm happy to have a discussion. I'm happy to give you all the knowledge that I've gained and that I spent so much time learning. But I just wanted to make sure that people understand how much thought goes into this. These things might seem innocuous, but they actually mean a lot. The little details make all the difference through the process, and I've seen some phenomenal results with virtual mediation, so hopefully that's helpful to someone out there.